This is When You Were Everything, chapter Auras, pages 201 to 207. Sydney is holding a creamy-looking bubble tea and a sunset-colored one, too, when I meet her in Chinatown. She's wearing a faux or fake fur coat, sunglasses, and big pearly earrings, and she looks a bit like she could be an extra in an Audrey Hepburn movie, which is to say, she stands out quite a bit on the littered, grubby sidewalks of downtown Manhattan. "Hey, girl," she says. She hands me the creamy tea and loops her arm through mine, and her familiarity makes my heart squeeze. "What's on the docket tonight?" So far, Sydney and I have done a photo shoot at the coffee shop Layla and I would stop by every morning, beat the high score on as many games as possible at the arcade Layla and I used to frequent in middle school, and ordered milkshakes as big as our heads with ridiculous toppings at the divey burger joint Layla took me to for my 15th birthday. We drank them so quickly we got brain freeze, and then we raced to see who could finish the crazy toppings like cheesecake, M&Ms, and brownies first. Tonight, a particular corner in Chinatown is on the itinerary. A tiny jewelry store that is more well known for its aura readings and crystals than necklaces and bracelets they sell, at least among believers in that kind of thing. Gigi first took me here when I was 10, I tell Sydney as we push open the shop door. It's tiny inside, and it smells a bit like a library, which is comforting to me for obvious reasons. Gigi was really into all this kind of stuff. Chakras and horoscopes, auras and fate. She was always saying to listen when the universe is trying to tell you something. She got her aura read once a month, and every now and then she'd bring me with her. Then, after she died, I brought Layla whenever I came. But she was never that into it. I think it's haram, so maybe that's why. There's a small line, so I explain how it works to Sydney while we wait. You sit over here. You sit over there, I say, pointing to a red stool with two hand-shaped panels on either side of it. They take your photo, and then when it develops, you'll be able to see what color your aura is. They tell you what it all means. Sydney unlinks her arm from mine and walks around the small shop, smoothing her hands over all the huge chunks of rose quartz. She bends down to look through glass cases at dozens of tiny rough pieces of amethyst, smooth stones of jade and jasper, and even asks to try on a turquoise necklace. "This is the best place you've taken me, Cleo. For real, it's amazing." I nod. "I know," I say, feeling myself slip into remembering the last time I was in Chinatown with Layla. We didn't even come here, but the sadness can leak into every little crevice or crack of my mind if I let it. "I was just at Dolly's," I tell Sydney, eager to think of something happy. She spins to face me with a shiny piece of obsidian in one hand, pale opalite in the other. "Was Dom there?" she asks, and I nod. "You guys have some cray-cray sexual energy. Tell me everything." I blush, but then I tell her about Dom and his small plates. I tell her how he showed me around and that I helped them close up. I don't tell her about volunteering to work there, though, because it feels almost embarrassing, that I'm so desperate to hang out with Dom that I'll work at his grandparents' restaurant for practically nothing. "Sounds like he's as into you as you are into him," Sydney pronounces after I've told her most of my story. "I never said I was into him." "Uh-huh." She doesn't even turn around to look at me. "Okay, Cleo." But under her breath she mutters, "Someone's in denial." "Are you buying any of those?" I ask her. She's amassed a small pile of stones that range in color from deep blue to pure, nearly translucent white. "Depends on what my aura says, I guess." When it's finally our turn, she abandons her stones on the counter and steps up to the chair to have her photo taken. You put your hands on the panels, the woman behind the camera tells her, and Sydney settles both her small hands in the right spots on either side of the chair. I go next. It's not a regular camera. It's a big rectangular box with a string that the woman pulls to open the shutter. And the photos aren't regular photos. They're Polaroid-esque. And the lady who is helping us places it face down before inviting us to sit in front of one of the glass cases full of crystals. When she peels the photos open to reveal our auras, they look very different. Sydney's is mostly red, bursting along the sides with pink and green, while mine is a blindingly bright shade of yellow with green around the edges, and a tiny bit of light brown and blue over my chest. Whoa, I say. Mine and Gigi's never looked exactly alike, but ours were never as different as Sydney's and mine are right now. Sydney gets her reading first. Red is a good color, the woman says. It means you're strong and adventurous, ready for anything. Sydney nods, and I agree, thinking of some of her ideas for my New Memories project. This green means you're very creative, especially when it comes to practical things. Maybe like hair, like clothes. Sydney stretches her eyes wide. I'm the president of the fashion club, she squeals. And I mean, look at my hair. The lady smiles. This pink, though. This pink means that there is a new person you love. A new friend or a new boyfriend? She says, and Sydney scrunches up her nose. Girlfriend? Sydney blushes, but not in a way that seems like she's embarrassed. She grabs my hand. Cleo's a new friend, she says to the woman. But she doesn't look at me as she says it, which makes me think she's probably thinking about Willa. Then it's my turn. This yellow is interesting. Means that you're very smart, very heady. But maybe sometimes you use your head a little too much. Does she ever, mumbles Sydney, and I slap her shoulder. You're green, because it's here, just along the edges at the top, means perfectionism. It means you always want to be perfect, and you expect perfection from the people around you, too. And this brown, right around your heart, means you're confused about something. Because it's so close to this pink, maybe you're confused about a friendship, about a person you loved or have loved. I swallow hard and take the photo when she gives it to me. Sydney's still holding my hand, but I pull away. Back out on the street, everything about us seems a little bit off. I can't stop thinking about my reading. Sydney is quiet, and Sydney is never quiet. So she must still be thinking about hers, too. You okay? I ask her, and she nods, but still doesn't say much. Right before we enter the subway station, she grabs my hand again. She pulls me over to a bench, and once we're sitting, she stares at her aura photo instead of looking at me. So, there's something I haven't told you, she says. I feel instantly tense, like I may have to run. I'm terrified of what she's about to say, because our new friendship is still so fresh, so tenuous. I get a horrible feeling that I may lose her before I even feel like she's mine. I busy myself sticking my photo into my bag so I don't have to watch her say whatever's coming. That day you tutored Layla, I called Willa. I thought that you and Layla would work things out, and then that me and Willa would, and then all four of us could be friends. But when I met you in Washington Square Park and you were so upset about the way things had gone, I didn't have it in me to tell you that me and Willa were okay, that we'd forgiven each other and met for ice cream, and that we'd figured most of our stuff out in a single afternoon. Her words wash over me like a wave, and I'm suddenly drowning in fear, jealousy, and something else. So you guys are friends again? I ask, because I need her to say the words. I think of a line from Hamlet about things not being good or bad until you think of them that way. But this feels bad. I can't help but fall into the spiral of memories, the way I was slowly replaced in Layla's life by Sloane when we'd been friends for years. How it would be So easy for Sydney to forget all about me if she has Willa again, since we've only been hanging out for a few weeks. Yeah, Sydney says, and she actually sounds excited. Yeah, but it's good, right? Now we can all hang out together. Sydney's phone buzzes in her hand, and the screen lights up with Willa's face. And that's a sign I can't ignore. A sign, if ever there was one. You say that now, I think, but I know how these things go. I stand up. Thanks for coming with me tonight, I say, swallowing hard around the lump in my throat, around the pain of impending loneliness, and all the other nights. But don't feel like you have to hang out with me out of pity or anything. Cleo? Sydney says, frowning. What are you even talking about? I shrug and start to walk away from her. Where are you even going? She calls. I got curfew, I lie. Now? She asks. Her phone is still ringing. You can get that. Meet up with Willa. I'll see you guys at school. Sydney looks at me and then back down at her phone. Are you sure? She asks, and I nod. Text me later? She says to me as she lifts her phone to her ear. Hey, where are you? I've seen the way you can lose someone in slow motion, and I know the kinds of things it can make me do, so I keep my head down, listening as her voice fades away. I slip on my headphones, erasing the sound of her, just like I've been erasing everything else that hurts.